Welcome to the Serengeti Resources presentation in the AGORACOM Online Gold and Commodities Conference. I am David Moore. I'm President and CEO of Serengeti Resources, and I will be presenting our company to you today, as well as answering questions posted by investors who are watching the presentation at our scheduled time. If you're watching this presentation outside of our scheduled time, please post your questions as we will be checking in over the next couple of days to answer them. Before I begin, I would ask all of you to take the next 10 seconds to review our forward-looking disclaimer statement, which you can review at any time by coming back to this slide. This slide demonstrates Serengeti's share structure. We trade under the symbol SIR on the TSX Venture exchange. In terms of current capitalization, we have 45.8 million shares issued and outstanding at this point in time, or 51.9 million fully diluted. Our ownership structure is approximately 15%. In fact, it's a little over 15% management, insiders, and company founders, 20% institutional, and 65% retail holding. This is a slide of the Serengeti share price over the last year, really a market summary. At this point in time, we are trading in the 30-cent range, giving the company a $14.1 million market capitalization. In terms of working capital in the company at this point in time, we have an $8.6 million working capital. Now, in terms of what that market valuation means compared to our peer group, this is what we're showing in this slide. So enterprise value in this, on the right-hand side of the bar chart, is simply market capitalization of the company minus the working capital. In other words, in Serengeti's instance, it's about between $5 and $6 million at current trading price. And on the left-hand side of the diagram, we're showing contained copper and gold, copper in blue and gold in red, in 43101 compliant resources. As you can see, Serengeti on this bar chart is on the left-hand side of the diagram, in other words, at the low end of the valuations, but with a significant resource. In other words, in comparison to our peer group, and our peer group here are other companies with copper and gold development projects in the Americas, we are undervalued, basically, by the market currently, and of course, undervaluations spell market opportunity. In terms of the people in the company, we have a very strong technical group. My background is about 30 years in a major corporation, Cameco Limited, Cameco Resources International, Tech Cameco. And that is a common background, I would say, amongst a number of people in the company, so a strong exploration management background. We often get asked what is the discovery track record of the people in the company, given that we are, after all, drill hole pickers, we're explorers. And that's what we show in this slide, the discovery track record of Myron Osatenko, the company's chief geologist, and myself. I personally have been, as you can see in this slide, involved in a number of significant discoveries through my career, including the Red Dog deposit, which is now the world's largest zinc mine. And of course, that discovery track record culminated with the discovery of the Quinica deposit in 2006, which Myron Osatenko and I shared in. Myron is first and foremost a porphyry expert and is one of the foremost experts really in the field of copper-gold exploration. At this point in time, all of Serengeti's properties are located in the Quesnel Trough of British Columbia. Quesnel Trough is host to virtually all of British Columbia's copper-gold resources, and you can see Serengeti's properties there in the middle of the belt. The properties shown in red are projects that were drilled this year, and of course our number one project is Quinnica, the Quinnica copper-gold deposit. This is a highly prospective part of the belt and one that enjoys a good infrastructure, and of course that's the key for an exploration and eventual mining project. This slide shows the tonnage and grade of these copper-gold deposits in the Quesnel Trough in BC, and what we're showing here are past-producing mines, current producers, of which there are two in the belt, Mount Poly of Imperial Metals and the Kemess mine of Northgate Mining. Very significant producers, past producers, and development projects. As you can see here, there are some very, very large deposits, individual deposits up over 2.5 billion tons, and some deposits with very good grade. For instance, the Afton project is a current underground redevelopment of a former producer. So a large number of deposits, some very big ones, and selected deposits with excellent grades. In terms of where Serengeti's projects are located within that belt, I mentioned a little earlier on infrastructure, and we show on this slide the cities of Prince George and Vanderhoof, which are really in the geographic center of British Columbia. Our properties are shown in orange here, and of course Quinnica, I mentioned our principal project, is located approximately 3 hours by road, about 200 kilometers, 125 miles north of Fort St. James, so that's important. Being able to drive to the project means that we can conduct year-round activity. In red on this slide, we show rail lines. So we have a potential concentrate loadout facility at Fort St. James, which would take us to the Pacific Rim markets, very likely market for copper-gold concentrate in British Columbia. And in pink on this slide, one can see the major power line that goes to the Kemess mine that ties into the British Columbia power grid and would be our closest point of approach to commercial power. That would be about 75 kilometers, which is a reasonable distance for a mining project to build a power line. This aerial view of the Quinnica project at the northern end of the Quinnica property shows the location of this, what we call the central zone, which is a significant body of copper-gold mineralization. We discovered in late 2006 with hole 9, K069, that you see labeled on this slide. This deposit is not located up in the mountains, as you can see from this aerial view, but in a flat plateau country and is accessible by road. The clear blocks you see on here are actually logging blocks on this slide. I'll address the 43101 compliant resource we have on the central zone in a minute, but use this slide to demonstrate a second zone of mineralization that we have been particularly focused on this year, and we think offers the possibility for development of a very significant zone, a second zone of mineralization on the property, located about 2 kilometers away from the central zone. This